All right, so it is raining today, and I wanted to get some work on the cars done, but unfortunately, it's just too wet out to do anything. So what we're gonna work on is the wheels for the Suzuki. Now these are some, what are they? Some old Raceline wheels. They're wider than the 5.5-inch wheels that come on the Suzuki right now. They're a Jeep bolt pattern. I believe they're from the 70s. And what the goal is to try to get these all buffed up. I wanted to put them on, but they're just kind of too ugly. So I'll just kind of go through the process of getting them all cleaned up. There's a ton of brake dust, and then the faces are all shot. So I was going to throw them on, as I said originally, but now I just want to see if I can clean them up and get them looking good. Now, I do have other products that I use for wheels, such as this Meguiar's or this brake dust and total wheel cleaner from P&S. But today we're going to use some all-natural vinegar, this awesome HDX sprayer, which I highly recommend because it's got the big mouth on it. And then we're going to use this as a binding agent so the vinegar doesn't run off the wheels. We need an acidic, 5% acidity. We need the acidic, the acid to take off all that brake and wheel dust. So that's what we're going to use that for. Oh, and I forgot to mention the mix, I think, is like 8 or 10 to 1 water to distilled vinegar, so don't pour it in directly. You will, I don't know what's going to happen, but just mix it. So after we shake it up, we're going to get this thing going, open up the nozzle, and we're going to get a little more spray here. There you go, spray it all over the rim. And we're going to try to get that brake dust all beat up. Now, I don't think it's going to come off with this first coat, but we'll see how good it does. What's going to happen is I'm probably going to have to go to a more aggressive cleaner, and we'll see that in a little bit if I have to. So now that it's all sprayed up, we're going to let it sit about 5 minutes before we wipe it down. Hopefully I don't have to go to the more aggressive cleaner. That's a lot more caustic, and I'll have to buy some PPE to make sure. But the goal is just kind of get this done. I got quoted, I think, 75 or 80 bucks a wheel, and I kind of don't want to spend that, so I'll just do it myself. If they're as messed up as this one is, you're probably not going to want to use one of these sponges. Unfortunately, this wheel is pretty jacked up. At this point, if it was a different wheel, we'll say like this one, I'll spray some on this wheel. You can see what's going to happen in a second. You can probably just wipe it off with a microfiber towel and you're probably good to go, but this one's pretty jacked up, so it's going to take a little bit. Here, we'll do a wipe down on this wheel now, and you can see how much a difference that little mixture made. And if you put it on here a little more, it would make a huge difference. So we'll just do the wheel. We'll give it the old chuckles in honor of my father-in-law. We'll just give it the old Chuck Walsh try. Meanwhile, back at this wheel, we're kind of ready for pressure washing. So here's the other wheel. I don't think it's going to come out very good. I think I'm going to need the more aggressive cleaner. We'll see what the pressure washer does. This is after only 2 minutes on the one that didn't have, I mean, it had a decent amount of brake dust, but because it's still in the corners and stuff, you can't pressure wash it off, but it looks pretty decent compared to what it was. So if I spent a little more time, it would look nice, but I don't care about this wheel. Back to this one. Not really any significant change. You can see it's probably a little lighter, but it's not enough, and we're going to have to go get the more caustic stuff. There you can see how the wheels look much better. I did spend like 2 minutes cleaning them. But for the next step, for cleaning the wheels, you can see it came out a little bit lighter, but it's obviously not good enough. What we're going to do is we're going to use this stuff. It's 100% lye, which means you're going to need some PPE. That way you don't get burned by the acid, and I'll show you how to mix that up. So I'm actually going to be using this 100% lye to dissolve the the acid's going to dissolve the brake dust off. And there's a couple precautions. Number one, lye is corrosive. It does cause burns and eye damage. Only leave on the wheel as long as needed. It will damage the wheels. Always take the wheel off the vehicle. And don't do it near your vehicle as it will damage paint. And always use PPE. And I am wearing gloves and a full suit. And I have a face mask over there in the garage. So I'll be using all that stuff. And then we will mix it together. I think it's like 100 grams per liter, but I don't have measurement tools, so I'm just gonna have to eyeball it. Oh, and another thing, this does have an exothermic reaction, which means as soon as you mix it together, it will start to heat up. Do not ever use hot water and water to mix this, hot water and this together, because it will get hot, maybe boiling. As I said, it's like 100 grams to 1 liter, and then we're gonna put it in the bottle. It has to be stirred and shaken up. So we're gonna make sure we use cold water and kind of mix it about to 1 liter, and what we think 100 grams is. I think that might be like how many are in here? 454 grams. So 1/4 of this bottle should be good. So when I was actually mixing it, you can actually see the heat coming off. It is actually getting warm. So we're actually gonna take this time to stir it to make sure everything is mixing up. You want to make sure it's mixed thoroughly. I know it's probably less than 1 liter there. We're gonna probably have to add more. And then what we're gonna do is spray on the wheels, leave it for like 10 minutes, and then scrape it off. It's been sitting on there for a few minutes. You can see it's lightened up a lot. I don't know if it's quite been 10, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna rinse it off, and you can see how much it's changed. Now, I do have the pressure washer, but it is not on. I'm gonna put it at a low blast. The hose is kinked, so there's a lot of kinks. All right, it's probably been about 7 minutes or so. The acid's been on the wheel for a little bit. Still all my PPE on. I do have the pressure washer, however, it's not on. This is just water hose pressure, so we're gonna rinse it off very slowly. And you can see how much is cleaned off of this wheel, how much of that, and how much it looks, well, hose pink, but how much it looks so much better. So that's with a little bit of scrubbing. And I'll rinse it off, continue, spray it again. Hopefully we'll get it on the next one. Since I really only want to do this once, I'll just get all the other wheels out and do it. You can see how bad they are and how much better they can look. So we're still working on this one. We'll get the other ones going. All right, it's baked down pretty good. It's been like 10 or so minutes. I scrubbed them down. I'm gonna rinse them off and respray them again. This is the cleaner one. I'm gonna keep doing that until at least the barrels, inside the barrels, are clean. The spaces have too many holes. But we'll keep going on this. All right, it is now sunny. And while cleaning this stuff, I noticed it smells a lot like really strong purple power. And that purple power stuff is actually a base. It's alkaline. So I Googled it. And of course, I was wrong. This stuff is actually a base, which is probably why in Fight Club, when he has lye on his hand, he pours vinegar on it, because vinegar is an acid and it would neutralize a base. At least that's what I'm assuming. I forgot to take the wheel weight off this one. You can see this is one of the 4 nasty ones that came out looking all right. Second one here, I got a kink in the hose. All right, back to the second one. Well, third one really. You can see it's kind of coming out clean here. Cleaner. We'll try not to slosh that mixture around too much. Here's the kind of fourth one. You saw how bad this stuff was on there. It's coming out pretty okay. I forgot to remove the wheel weights on these, so that sucks. I'll tip these over and get them all cleaned out in a little bit. And I'll spray them down with some that light acidic stuff to neutralize it. And here's the fourth one, or the first one, as you saw. You spent some time on it. It can come out looking good. I really don't care that much. Really about the faces and just kind of removing the wheel dust on the inside. So let me get these all washed up and we'll be back. I gotta say, thank goodness that this stage is done. It got in here pretty okay, but we're gonna try to clean this up a little bit. I'm now donning new. It's a apron because we're going to be trying to buff this thing out now. A good looks like someone tried to scrape this off before. A good hint on getting old stickers off. WD-40, let it sit there, clean it up with soap and water. We're going to try to get that off. Well, the sun's going down. It's the end of the day. It's freaking cold out here, so this is kind of where we're at. This is where we came from, this rough finish, and now we're a little shinier. This is going to end up being black inside, so not so much worried about that. Just working on the lip, not really looking for a super high polish, maybe like a machined lip look, but you can tell there's still a lot of crud in here that needs to be taken out. Might hit that up with the vinegar solution. It looks pretty light, might come out, and then I'll just continue to buff it until it looks good, and then we'll hit the inside up with black and then do it 3 more times.